Hello, Legion, and welcome to our next episode of the Fall of Faerun, our community event, our apocalyptic Forgotten Realms, where we decide not who lives or who dies or the greatness of nations, but whether or not a family can get from Waterdeep to Neverwinter. That's it. That's all we're looking for here. We're looking for the ability for survival and honor to make it in a world where those things are usually the first to go. So to go forward, though, with the penultimate episode of our community event, we have to go back just briefly to learn what happened in our last episode. In our last episode, we saw a need for a pit stop as the escape train, the two stagecoaches that were bound from Waterdeep to Neverwinter, were running low on fresh horses and supplies. The half-orc Tiz was able to find what looked like an abandoned ranch. And as the groups fell into the ranch, hoping to find fresh horses, which were found, hoping to find food, which was found, they also found other things. Some hags, some scarecrows, and worse yet, they found a delay. And in this, an escape from an unstoppable undead horde, time is of the essence. It is the greatest of commodities, more so than water, food, or fresh horses. If you waste time, you become a part of the horde. And so as a battle took place and as decisions were made among the party, a horde descended. And as the horde got there, it was the fighting of Aspen, the centaur, and the fighting of Father Strider inside the house that caused an explosion from these volatile beings that consumed a great portion of the homestead and the enemy, and presumably both Aspen and Father Strider. However, they were met and propositioned one final time, in Aspen's case, by the Mick Jagger look-alike devil, who appeared and had sympathy for them. Enough so to return them to the grand game, return them to the chessboard of life. Perhaps for just their entertainment, we're not sure. But mechanically speaking, the segue is this. When I pull up the main characters, you will see on the overlay that all of the original Week 1 characters have a Legion emblem made by Tales from the Grimm's very own Kiana. The Legion emblem indicates that the donation down below of time effery is no longer available for them. And you will notice that beside Aspen's camera, they also have the heart with the knife through it. That means that the $100 donation that you see just down here is unavailable for them. So Audrey will be working without a net as far as Aspen is concerned. It is a tenuous time, but returned to life, Aspen and Strider appeared several hours after the events of the farmhouse explosion. They had been left a trail of jam. And who doesn't follow a trail of jam? But before we go any further with that story, we will assume that the trail of jam is followed to the north, towards the main escape train of Mother, the children, and the surviving PCs. But as Tiz, the half-orc, rode on ahead to Neverwinter in the hopes of bringing back somebody else or some additional help to aid the party to get there, another hero must step forward. Another hero must, even perhaps reluctantly, assume the mantle and the vacancy and the void left by Tiz. And so, Legion, at this time, I would like to bring in your friend and mine, Sir Anti-Stud. Sir Anti, welcome to the show. And if you could briefly, my friend, tell us who you will be playing and give us the rundown.
I will be playing Dexter, the Kobold Scout Rogue. Dexter stands at a mighty just over 2 feet tall, and is usually found cowering in a dark green cloak covering his entire form. Dark green scales underneath that allow him to much more easily hide in darkness. Not so much in light. He's not really a fan of that, having grown up in the Waterdeep sewers. But even though he's rather afraid of everything that's going on right now, Tiz is gone ahead. Aspen and Father Strider are, well, you know, and others have already gone down. We're running low, and it's been hours since the explosion, and no one has popped up. So someone's got to do something, right?
That would be the hope, that someone has to do something. And it just so happens that when a void is created, Mother recognizes it, and this happens. Dexter, as you are where you are, you hear the voice of Mother as the escape train, the frantic caravan heading from Waterdeep to Neverwinter has taken a pause. The horses are being tended to by the PCs that are currently in play, but Mother, who has just sent Tiz several hours ago ahead to Neverwinter, begins to go back through the stagecoaches, realizing as she looks around that there is a face that is not present. And so you would hear from wherever you are, Dex? Dex, are you here? Dex? Has anyone seen Dex? Dex?
Uh, Dexter will pop his head out from under one of the stagecoaches because as a mighty 2 feet tall, you can pretty much hide wherever you want. And he'll just look towards Mother, squinting a little bit in the sunlight, because even though he's been out of the sewers for 6 years now, it still hurts.
As soon as Mother lays eyes on Dex, she runs over and kneels down, and you see her hand, twisted with age at the joints, reach out to take yours.
He trusts Mother. He'll instantly reach out a little clawed hand and take it.
She doesn't pull, she doesn't try to, bring Dex out from wherever he is. It's a hand of comfort, not a guiding or commanding hand. And as she holds onto it, her eyes meet Dex's. Are you okay, child?
No. They're not coming back, are they? Like the cat and the horse?
She nods. Well, you have to have faith, Dex. You have to have faith. Regardless of whether or not they come back, they will always be with us. Ortis, Tyson, the deputy, my little horse, the father, will always be with us. And she moves closer in, still kind of cradling your hand. I've lost many children in my years. None so quickly, but you can still see them in that moment between sleeping and awake. I still see Otis and Tyson and the deputy. They're still with us. You must have faith, Dex. Death is just a different color. Every artist must change colors, even with a masterpiece.
Yeah. And he's just going to stay there, silently holding her hand, occasionally meeting her gaze, but more often just looking out at the other people, the children that were down on two protectors now. And after a little bit, he slings his little pack off his back in front of him and digs around it a little and pulls out a small canvas-wrapped rectangle and pushes it over to Mother, saying, I managed to get this before the house burned down in Waterdeep. It's one of the few things I got. And when she would unwrap it, it would be a small portrait of Mother. And she would remember this is the very first painting that he made after he was found.
You would see her eyes immediately well up with tears. As she looks at it, she doesn't release the hand that's holding yours as she's kind of unfurled it with her offhand, but you feel the pressure of her hand strengthen on yours as she can't communicate verbally, but you feel that emotion through her grip. Thank you, Dex, she eventually says.
It's nice knowing that I'll be remembered. I'm gonna go out now. And he points towards all the other people working in the sunlight.
As Dex, you would get up and start to move out among the rest of the group. From the south, two figures would be coming up the path. And as we bring in everybody else, Aspen and Father Strider, the cat and the little horse, would be coming up the road. And while you're still in Mother's proximity, you would hear her say, Faith.
Faith. Yeah.
And you are all together, my friends. Welcome back in, the 4 surviving members of week 1, as we have Lauren, Audrey, Jason, and Jordan all back with us. And as Staffan has noted, in their seats. Let's see if we can't tempt the fates and shake the pillars of heaven tonight. I will let you all know this. You have a moment. You will get a long rest here. If there's anything else you need to do, my friends, this has become customary. Do it, RP it, play it now, live your characters, for tomorrow they may die.
Zeph would start running toward Aspen.
Daenerys is right next to Zeph, running, flying full speed.
And as you get close, Aspen would be singing. Aspen was probably singing for the past hour at least. Father Strider may very well be sick of that, but
Father Strider has been in the travel time, has been sort of deep in thought, contemplating what he had heard when he communicated with this amulet, and he goes up to Mother to present her with it. Dearest Mother, I do not know why we have been blessed with this artifact, but it seems to know something about the current calamity that we are in. Back at the house, a voice seemed to emanate from it, and it sort of paralyzed me as myself and it spoke. Sadly, I feel that I endangered the others, but I do sincerely believe that there is more information that can be garnered from this artifact.
Out of respect, she waits until about 3/4 of the way through what you've just said, ignores your offering completely, and wraps you in a hug.
He sort of stands there awkwardly for a moment, and then you see his shoulders kind of slump, his head sort of leans forward, as to him it felt like a failure, a lapse in judgment, that he had endangered some of Mother's flock, and it's something that he's been struggling with in this time that they've been walking back. But he does say to her as she's holding him, "Do not fear, Mother. As I said, I have a debt to repay. And before this is all over, I have a feeling that I might repay it."
She reaches up and pats the side of your tabaxi face for a second, not in a condescending manner at all, but almost as if it was something she never thought she'd get a chance to do again. It's almost like muscle memory. And she smiles and does not take the offered amulet that you're holding out. "I'm sure you'll know what to do with it."
And at some point before the long rest, he would like to be able to investigate it further.
Okay. We'll get back to that in a second. Let's see what everybody else is doing.
Hugging.
Everybody roll a hug check.
I crit hug checks. I crit hug and smooch checks. It's canon. I don't need to roll it.
It's an auto, not 20.
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, in a singular group hug that the Forgotten Realms has never seen, everyone gets their hug on.
Nice.
Aspen, you found them, didn't you? Didn't you?
We left you a trail.
Damn.
We had some great sandwiches on our way back.
Did you find all the jars?
Yes.
Good. We were pretty impressed with ourselves.
Yeah.
It was a good plan.
Quality work.
10 out of 10.
Yes, that's the best grade I've ever gotten. Well, you did it somehow. How?
I had a little help.
Like what kind of help?
I wouldn't recommend that kind of help, but a friend, associate, helped us get unexploded, I guess.
You exploded?
Oh yeah, those zombies go up. If you get flame anywhere near them, they just...
Is that why there was that crater when we went?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, I hit one with a flaming sword. Just...
let me
Ow.
just. I should double check something, and Zeph like pokes Aspen. No, you're definitely here. Your muscles are as muscly as ever. That's actually a comfort to me. Thank you. Oh, good. Okay, well,
Yeah.
is this a religion thing? Is this a religion thing that I don't get?
Shining light beacon thing that you talk about a lot.
Faith's pretty powerful. And he just glances over at Mother with a little smile.
It's true. I didn't necessarily expect to be back so soon, certainly, but things worked out. Things work out a lot of times.
For you?
For a lot of people. We're all here.
Veneris is gonna lean over to Zeph and just whisper very quietly.
Yep.
Do you think she got hit on the head? Do you think they got hit on the head?
I don't know. Maybe they've had a. Maybe they're like born again paladin. Veneris, Aspen, we're so happy to see you because we would not be alive without you.
You saved us all.
We respect your religion and we're gonna go though. Me and Daenerys, we gotta go.
Okay.
Just gonna walk right over there.
Yeah.
Oh wait, does anyone know where the shotgun is?
Oh,
I'm
right,
looking
Barnacle.
for that. Is that the Barnacle? I thought you had that.
Tiz took Barnacle north. So Barnacle has been ridden north.
Barnacle had the powder, but then I believe Aspen had the shotgun.
The shotgun should still, the shotgun should still be in play. The black powder that Barnacle was carrying has been put onto the stagecoaches.
Well, yeah, I forgot
With
about
the
that.
kids?
Do you want
Yes.
I would love to try it.
Okay, you take that. We'll go practice. Come on, Veneris.
Okay.
To talk to you anyway.
Okay.
Are you practicing with the shotgun now?
Yes.
Zeph
I
will
would
watch
like,
you.
as the firearms lesson commences, I would like both Aspen and Father Strider to roll me a perception check.
Oh wait, Zeph, do you think I should do it? It might be kind of loud. I don't know if we want to attract things.
Well, they weren't really attracted by sound, right?
Yeah, but that was also in a closed room where they saw that there was nothing there already. It might be sound and noise.
We could just pose.
Pose,
With it.
I like that.
Practice aiming.
Just pose, yes, perfect. That's exactly how you learn something.
With the two perception checks from Aspen and Father Strider, you don't notice anything other than both of you independently for a moment think that you hear the sound of a flute on the wind, but then it's gone.
Hey, your posing's going pretty good.
Thanks, Zeph. Wait, you mentioned you needed to talk about something.
Yeah. Zeph's kind of like digging her foot in the ground a bit as she's watching Veneris and kind of keeps looking back toward the stagecoaches. Not that they're very far from them at all. I have been thinking after there's a lot of hugging going on recently. And which is nice. I mean, I have not been hugged.
It's a little weird.
Yeah.
I didn't really think this family hugged that much, but...
No, we didn't seem like the hugging type.
No.
When Mother would hug me, I would just kind of freeze, thinking that she was like a larger predator going to like suffocate me. Yes. But you hugged me when I said I was going to go back for you. And I was, but then I didn't.
But I know you were going to, because I know when my siblings lie to me. And if you say that you had the intention to, I just didn't give you enough time to be the hero that you can be.
Oh, she looks really guilty. She's not good at hiding anything anyway, but like her stringy black hair, she's kind of like hiding her face with it and looking down.
Zeph.
I was going to go back for you, but then I didn't because of him. And she points toward one of the stagecoaches with the kids.
Is it Robin?
Yes. I could have been pointing at any of them. It's just like a group of tiny
Children.
Troublemakers. Yes,
Well,
children.
It's because after the cellar, you were very concerned. And I mean, honestly, I've never seen you that concerned for someone, so it was a little shocking.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
So I wanted to go back for you, but then I didn't.
Zeph, I want you to make me a promise. If I ever am stuck on our trip up north, I want you to leave me behind. If it means that the rest of the group gets out safe, I want you to push ahead and know that that is what I wish. I need you to protect them, Zeph. If I cannot be there, I know that you can.
Does that make me a bad person?
Doesn't make you a bad person at all. We do what we must for the ones that we care for. And I know that getting those children, getting Robin's friends to safety is far more important than my life.
I hope I can be like you and like Aspen.
You already are, Zeph. You already are. And he knows that none of them usually hug, but he pulls her in for another hug, awkwardly still holding the shotgun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she'll very covertly wipe away her tears and return the hug and head back over to the coach to check on everyone else.
On your way over, roll a perception check, and while you're doing that, I will ask what Dex and Aspen are doing.
Dex would probably first have checked in with Father Strider, because Father Strider I don't think is as tall as Aspen and is therefore less intimidating to him. After just checking in with Father Strider, asking how he is and whatnot, would probably go up to Aspen and say to them, How did... That was a big explosion.
It was.
And now you're here.
I am. Had more work to do.
I honestly thought you guys weren't gonna come back, but then Mother, well, Faith, she's told me to have faith, and oh, here you guys are. With jam too, with jam. Good. We were kind of running low on jam, but I didn't have any left after the fact. So, jam with toast kind of gets boring after a while, though.
At least it's a good flavor.
True. Raspberry. Yeah, it's a nice flavor. Not as good as grape, though. Grape's better. And then awkwardly walk away.
After the awkward turning and walking away, Dex, roll me a perception check.
Hey, I'm kind of good at those.
Dex, as you turn and take a couple steps away from Aspen, you hear the light, airy notes of a flute. Just 2, 3, 4, drug out a bit. And as you look around trying to identify the source of the sound or who's playing music, you see on a hill, maybe about 25, 30 yards away, rising up facing the setting sun, a silhouette of a thin being. Seems to, by the positioning, be paying particular attention to Aspen. And as, in a very J.J. Abrams-like moment, the light flares a bit, the being is gone.
He would rub his eyes again, take another look, glance over his shoulder at Aspen with a little like, what the heck is that? Look on his face. And
You okay?
before just, no, I just thought I saw something. Am I still getting used to this dang sunlight thing? Yeah. And he walks away back towards the carriages.
Dex, as you are walking back towards the carriages, almost as if somebody is whispering directly into your right ear, you hear, "Faith, Dex, faith."
Instantly drawing a dagger and spinning around, looking for whoever said that.
Dex?
Nothing there.
It's too long without sleep. I'll be fine.
Okay.
And continue on towards the carriages, looking significantly more scared.
Zeph, as you get to the carriage to check in on everybody, with your 14 perception, you see on the floor of one of the carriages that Robin and the gnome Truss are working on something. And as soon as you come up, very deftly, there is a move, and it looks like pieces of cards are being brought out, and you see that they're playing some type of game.
Hey. What are you doing?
Robin does not look up, but you hear nothing.
Uh-huh. So you're not playing cards then?
No.
So what are those?
We're and you don't hear anything, but you see the hairless head of Truss, whose skin is, for narrative purposes, Truss is a gnome, they, them, white skin, albino features. You don't hear a thing, Zeph, but Truss leans forward, almost touching Robin's forehead, and Robin nods. We're trading cards.
You're trading playing cards?
Again, the head leans forward, and Robin, yes?
Can I play?
The head does not move for Truss. And you can see that Robin is waiting. Shh. Okay. And you hear Truss go, as if the wrong answer was given.
Just gonna get in the damn coach and look around, because these are the most suspicious little shits.
Roll a perception if you want to do a general look around, or you can pick one of the kids and roll an investigation check.
Well, Robin's not such a good liar, but I'm not doing investigation. I'll do perception. I'm gonna cast guidance on myself because I'm me.
Spam it.
I will. Yay, me. While I'm alive, 23.
Oh yeah, you see that there are indeed many trading cards out, and what these trading cards basically happen to be, they're notable people in the city of Waterdeep. You see the Blackstaff, you see Lady Ariel, you'll see like a bunch of the nobles, a bunch of the heroes of Waterdeep, members of Force Grey, things that kids would trade based upon reputation as told by adults to kind of delineate down to the kids. It's a way of kind of creating, or had been creating, kind of like a city-state pride, making sure that even the children recognized and knew about the heroes of the city. However, as you're looking, you see that because a 23 is pretty good, you see that there's a stack of cards, and then there's what looks like a card that has been turned into a 2-inch deep box. If you just casually glanced at it, it would look like a deck of cards. But now that you have a 23 perception, it looks like somebody made a box out of cards.
Just gonna reach for it.
Truss moves in front of you.
What? You don't have any card protectors?
Robin's eyes are going back and forth from you to Truss. Truss leans forward. Again, you hear nothing. And Robin says, here are some cards. And he pushes a small stack your way.
Oh my god. This is what's gonna kill me. She kind of, not dealing with the Truss, just looks at Robin with the most intimidating look she can muster. And Robin, hand me that box.
Roll an intimidation check.
It's gonna be so bad though. It's gonna be real bad. Yeah. This is not awful.
You see his face scrunch up a bit as he looks at Truss, and now you still can't hear anything, but just barely perceptible, you see a shake. And Robin looks at you, looks at Truss. It's just our stuff. It's all we've got left.
Cool, can I see it?
We're trying to help. And you hear again from Truss.
I just picture this little tiny face palm.
Cool. Can I see how you are trying to help? You've seen how I try to help. I turn into a wolf. She looks at Truss. A big wolf.
Robin is intimidated. Truss is not. Truss, with the greatest Faerun equivalent of poker face that there has ever been, the little gnome looks up at you, and after about an uncomfortable 15-20 seconds, slowly moves the card box from the position on the carriage floor where they're sitting and slides it a few inches over towards Zeph.
Going to look in it.
You have no idea what you're looking at.
Seems about right.
I will allow. I will.
Not gonna allow.
As soon as you open up, you smell something as if it's burning.
Mhm.
As soon as the card box is opened, you smell the combustion smell that you would if a match went off.
Mhm.
You can tell that there is some type of small, almost steam type of engine inside this little 5-inch by 4-inch box, and it seems to be chugging along. As soon as the box was open, you could hear a little, and Truss's eyes get just a bit wider, kind of gauging to see if you know what you're looking at.
I definitely do. It's what I'm going to have my face in the expression of. I definitely know what this is.
They're both looking to the box to you. The box to you. Just trying to help, Robin says.
I will have to talk to Mother about this. It's very serious.
Roll a deception check. Robin face immediately goes down. Truss's face, their face does not. Almost with a, no words, but almost with a go ahead expression.
I'm going to take the box with me.
Again, you don't see that there's concern on Truss's face.
Good. I take it and I go have fun with your trading cards.
Just as you are exiting, Robin says, and he reaches out and touches your ankle as you're standing up. Please, we're just trying to help. We needed to help.
She sits back down. Okay, Truss, I just don't give me a smarmy know-it-all look, please. How are you trying to help exactly? Don't do it. Don't do it.
Truss leans forward. Again, you hear nothing. You don't hear a whisper or a code. You don't hear a snort you don't see any type of exchange of communication. And Robin leans forward, almost touching foreheads with Truss, and then turns to you and says, "We're going to help take care of everybody."
Robin, could you give me a literal answer instead of a whatever this is? Straightforward. People like straightforward answers. You should know that as you grow up.
He looks over at Truss. Again, Truss. You see Truss reach into the robes of a pocket of their robes for a moment and pull out what looks like a long coiled, wrapped maybe 6 or 7 kind of lengths deep, turns, holds it up to you, and for the first time in your life, you hear Truss speak as they say, "Fuse."
A fuse? I know
That's
what
a-
a fuse is. Does it go to this?
Truss turns down and starts looking through the cards again as if they've already explained all they care to. Robin looks back and forth, and as the camera pulls out of the stagecoach, Robin says, "Sorta."
I'm gonna facepalm now.
And as we pull out, night has fallen. This is the one night that you all get a chance to get your long rest. If there's anything you would like to do other than rest, let me know. If not, we make the last few miles stretch to Neverwinter.
Aspen will be polishing their armor and shield.
Veneris is eating basically like an entire jar of jam. Just slowly with like bread or crackers, whatever rations he can find. He is just slowly going away at this jar while sending a silent little prayer up to his patron.
Father Strider seeks out Megan before she goes to sleep. Dear child, we should talk about the events of today.
She seems a bit tired, but she's sitting there kind of curled up a bit.
I need you to understand that no matter what happens, I will never try to separate you from the group. The evil being earlier today that impersonated me, they did something that I would never attempt to do. Remember always that there are strength in numbers. And know
Roll-
that... What?
Roll a persuasion check.
Okay. Yeah.
She nods.
Know that there may come a time here very soon that I may have to go against my promise to never leave you. That is why I gave you that amulet before, to protect you from what you fear most. But if I do leave, you have to promise me to not leave the family. I trust them with my life. And you should do the same.
Sh-
And if I am gone, know that I will always be here. And he touches her on the heart.
She looks down and then looks at the ring that you gave her. She nods.
Sleep well, dear child. We have a long journey ahead tomorrow.
As you leave the stagecoach where the kids are sleeping, you see that she kind of Megan curls down and she curls around Can, the goblin, who is sleeping with a little stuffed lizard holding it to them, and they just kind of spoon up like a pile of cats on the bottom of the stagecoach floor.
And with that, before bedtime, he wants to try and discern whatever he can from this artifact that he found.
Here's the devil's bargain, my friend.
Of course.
You can absolutely delve back into the swirling secrets that is the amulet. However, if you do so, you will forgo your long rest. It will result in a level of exhaustion, which would give you disadvantage on skill checks.
Wow, okay.
Do it.
Yeah, I'm going to do it.
Okay. So as you delve into this swirl of color, that as you concentrate onto this amulet that you found in the grasp of a corpse in the rancher's home, again it swirls and you see the figure of this incredibly aged and incredibly elderly humanoid, and they begin to materialize and coalesce out of this smoke. But instead of repeating and going over and over the same kind of mantra that you heard before, they are simply standing and looking at you.
So, entity, what is it that you were trying to express to me before?
Roll a persuasion check.
Oh my god.
The entity just sort of reluctantly shakes its head, and you hear a voice that begins before the lips move, almost as if it's like poorly dubbed, or the audio is reaching you before the actual physicality of the movement and creation of speech. And you hear again, "They did it. North to the Dale, to Icewind Dale." And that repeats every 30 seconds or so.
Are you saying that this calamity that we are in originated from the Icewind Dale, or that is where safety lies?
Roll another persuasion check. I'll let you know you get 3 of these, but roll another one.
Okay, I'm going to preemptively do this with advantage, spending 5 honor. I guess he wants me to burn through my honor.
What? No, of course not. What?
And I didn't need it, of course.
This time, as the repetition seems to begin with the "they did it, north to the Dale, to Icewind Dale," the entity stops and looks at you. "They tried and tired of the world's indifference. They did it."
I'm going to ask you one more time, my friend. And if I do not get the answer that I want, I will cast you aside in the nearest river I can find, and you can lay there in silence for eternity. I am ready to die for my family. Are you ready to die of boredom?
Roll a persuasion check.
I'm gonna burn my last 5 on her. Again, I didn't need it. That's pissed away on her. I love it. It's great.
Me too. The entity looks at you, and you hear, as the wheezing and the whispers coalesce and solidify, they did it. They are north in Icewind Dale. It will last a year. They, tired of the world's indifference, they are vacationing in the Dale. The cold. The dead cannot abide the cold.
All right. And with that, I assume I'm not going to derive any more information out of this, given the meta knowledge you gave me, Greg. Okay. Very well then. But know this. Father Strider does not play games. And with that, whenever he snaps out of this, he throws the amulet into the river.
As you snap out of it and as the amulet leaves your hand and flies towards the river, you see the sunrise as you have been standing still the entire night. Take your level of exhaustion, my friend. Yep. Everyone else, if north is still the destination, which I strongly suggest, it is time to head into the last miles to Neverwinter.
If I could go back and retcon one thing, because Dexter is gonna do something that's probably really stupid. How far away was that hill that I saw that figure on?
25, 30 yards away. It was just literally right beside the where you guys had stopped.
Okay, can I quietly stealth over there and check it out for any clues of anything being there?
Roll me a stealth, and then roll me an investigation when you get there. I'll tell you this, you get there pretty quietly. You don't alert anybody of your coming or your going, but when you get up to the top of the hill, you don't see any indication as far as things that may have been left or anything like that. And just when you're about ready to turn and leave, you do notice just the slight kind of half moon indentation of a heel print.
With my 60 feet of dark vision, can I just do a quick scouting around from the top of this hill, see if I see anything?
I'll go ahead and, with a free roll, you don't see anything.
Still looking pretty concerned about that. He's just gonna go back to the carriages, just every so often mumbling a faith. It's really important. Faith. Yeah. That's it for me.
Oh. Fantastic. So, my friends, the next day arrives. Father Strider, the next few seconds arrive, it seems to you. You are able to begin your journey north, and as the escape train heads that way with the remaining two stagecoaches, as you go north, I would like everyone to roll perception checks as it's about 2 o'clock the following afternoon.
Did we notice Father Strider standing still
He's
when we woke up?
Father Strider's weird. He meditates a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, you noticed. You definitely noticed it. Sure.
Okay.
One thing I would do is tell Mother and everybody that the information that I discerned from the amulet. That definitely would have happened, and then would have said, it was quite draining to me to deal with this, but I think it was well worth the price that I paid.
Okay. So with the information that Father Strider shared with everybody, I would just ask one question independent of everybody from Father Strider. Does anyone look for the amulet that was thrown into the river?
What amulet?
It's so shiny.
Honestly, Aspen would.
Veneris would.
If you're going to do it, you roll me an investigation check. The DC's pretty high because this was thrown in moving water, so.
It's okay. It's okay. It's not okay.
Yeah, Aspen wouldn't have tried very hard, but would have at least gone and looked.
Yeah, nothing.
It was so shiny.
So, with the perception checks that were rolled, Veneris, as morning turns to midday, turns to afternoon, you are the first one to see, as you look ahead, as the road, the surrounding fields, even the trees that line the distance, and as those kind of the marshland that's off to the east, it seems as if someone has taken the very land and cracked it and sundered it and rippled it. It looks like frozen waves, some peaks and plates of the ground rising in tilted patterns 6 feet high and dipping 4 feet below where the landline would be that you're currently riding. The way ahead of you and the way to the east, as far as you can see, is this destroyed, tilted world.
Hey, Father. You remember that whole thing this morning about how it's gonna be cold and stuff? Is that what you saw? They point out towards the destruction.
Yes, it is definitely what I saw. I figured that you would enjoy it because it would keep your raspberry jam cool, Veneris.
You know me so well.
Yeah, to clarify too, there's no ice. It's just as if somebody has taken a bulldozer or a heavy earth mover into this area for as far as the eye can see, north and east. You reach a proverbial line where the road is flat like it normally is, and then it becomes twisted and rippled and broken and sundered.
What would cause something like that?
Roll me a nature or arcana check, Druid.
Great. -1 intelligence, Druid. Yeah, nice.
It looks like there's nothing that would look like it was done by a tool. That's the only thing that you can tell. It looks natural for all intents and purposes.
If I was told of this as a scout rogue, we automatically get expertise in nature. Could I make the roll too?
Absolutely, I will. Absolutely.
23.
Woo! Those are pretty good scores there. When you look at this, something kind of tilts in your mind, Dex. It's not necessarily something that you've seen before, but perhaps you've heard about. you remember that there is a story one time of a band of bandits that were attempting to evade chase as they were being followed by a posse from a local city-state. And with them, they had a wizard, and this wizard was able to create and mess and distort the earth itself. So the tracks that were followed were lost with the destruction, but you've never heard of anything quite this scale. But with a 22 or 23, I'll tell you this, it makes for tough going for people that are walking, or for undead that are walking.
Would it hamper? I'm assuming it would hamper hearts then too. Yes.
With that roll, the coaches can continue no further north or east.
Okay. Well, it looks like we're going on foot from here. The coaches aren't going to be able to go through this. I mean, the zombies put in the zombie things too, but the last few miles are going to be a little longer than we expected. And whatever caused this is, well, I hope we don't find it.
Are we still going to Neverwinter?
I assumed so. No, I
Why?
The high road leads north to Neverwinter. That's what you're currently on. Or
Right. I just mean, why are we going?
Because the other orphanage is there.
that was Mother's idea, was to get to basically Mother's estate north.
And even if we were gonna like keep going past like to like actual like icy like Icewind Dale, that would still be like on the way, right? Neverwinter would be.
Yeah, as far as the Forgotten Realms is concerned, you want to stay, if you're heading towards Icewind Dale, the easiest way to do it is to hug the coast, go up by Neverwinter, where the kind of the warm river comes through, Neverwinter, and then travel up by Luskin, and then pass through it's usually open unless it's cold weather, into the 10 Towns region of Icewind Dale. So this was the way that you would go if it was landbound. You don't want to take the spine of the world. That is bad news. That's the mountain range.
Mm-hmm.
Only we had a boat.
I just worry about obviously taking all the children on foot and going back into a city. That's all.
Is there any way we could reinforce the wheels to be able to handle this incredibly rough terrain, or is that just a lost cause?
It's a lost cause, and I'm going to give you that from the 23 that you rolled. This would be like trying to roller skate. I mean, I don't even know what. Imagine if you had plates of glass and mattresses and asphalt all arranged in X's and Y's. This is not going to work.
Okay.
How many horses do we have?
I believe you have a total of 24.
Oh,
The horses traverse it.
25.
no?
With a nature check, you would know that these horses are going to break their legs if they try to do this. This is what would be considered difficult terrain. And regular horses are going to have a hell of a time. Now, Nick Sparkle will be able to make it.
Okay.
That's because Nick's a warhorse. You're right. That's exactly what I am. Aspen would hear.
I do know we have a ranger. Rangers can help with traversing difficult terrain, right?
You know, I would normally be really good at that if we were, say, in the Underdark.
It's almost like somebody looked at the character sheets to make sure that there wasn't some. I mean, what? Go ahead.
Okay. I see you, Greg. I see you.
I can never unsee him. Hold on.
So we gotta take the kids through on foot.
I can only conjure 4 war horses. Only 4.
Horses can't get through it anyway. What about those
4
eagles?
horses.
4 horses can.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
What about way back when we were just getting out of Neverwinter? You did the thing with the giant eagles carrying the carriages over the wall.
Oh yeah, that was pretty cool.
How many kids could the giant eagles carry, and how long would those eagles last?
They last an hour. There are 2 of them.
Just remember, we also established with the narrative that those were empty carriages that were carried up that way.
Right. We're talking about the children.
Yeah,
With
not just the kids.
the
Just the kids. The carriages aren't going to be useful anymore.
Yeah, sure. I'll let you take of the 10 known kids. I'll let you take 5 of them.
Okay, and they would last an hour, so we'd have to have them back down.
Who are your 5 favorite kids?
I'm not responding to that. I only have 1.
Hey Greg. Could
Yeah.
myself or our local ranger make a survival check to try to find a route through this broken land that wouldn't slow us down as much?
I might be able to fly up and try and get a little bit of an aerial view on that.
I will take a perception check for that from both of you, from the scout and the ranger, and I will take a regular perception check from everybody else.
Can I also help because I'm an outlander?
Sure, yeah,
And we are in sunlight, right?
you are.
Disadvantage for me then, that is a 7.
7 for me as well.
Hey, 7.
Why?
Here's where the party nails its perception checks, which this happens at least twice an episode, which I
I
love.
see everything always. I don't know what you're talking about.
Jam.
Didn't anyone leave us a trail of jam through this difficult terrain?
Chat,
it-
Bardic inspiration, please.
It's funny you should say that because Jason, is that a 17 for Father Strider? Or is that
Negative, because a skill check with disadvantage gives me 10.
because you're exhausted. Look at that. What a nice person.
I'm so mad at
Yes,
you.
so yeah, nobody sees anything. You don't see an easier way through here. You certainly don't see a dust cloud in the south that would indicate that the Horde is on its way.
Oh.
Greg!
I mean, would you guys mind going through the Underdark?
Can we just go
I'm
back
not
under mountain?
Children into the Underdark.
I mean, it's perfectly fine. I went there all the time.
Veneris?
Okay, and no Underdark. Got it.
As Father
Okay.
Strider hears this conversation, he ponders the most important question. Would undead drow be undrow?
I think we just have to walk
No.
at this point.
Yeah, we just have to walk.
Yeah, let's just get moving. Carry what you can. Don't let it slow you down, though.
I have
If
a
we
strength
were-
of 6, so no promises.
If we were to do the Eagles, would we be able to? We can get 5 of the 20 kids out.
They'd be
Um,
going by themselves, of course.
That's. I mean, I can fly, not as fast as an eagle.
Sure. The air is perfectly safe.
To
Air
stay
is always
together,
That sounds. I'm gonna say that sounds like bullshit, Greg.
if we
Totally sounds like bullshit.
Everything he says sounds like bullshit, Jason.
yeah, I think we should all stay together and keep eagles as a backup plan.
Eagles are the best backup plan, let me tell you.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Okay, stick together, travel the path.
Yep. I
Okay.
think that's the plan then, yeah.
Alrighty, so as you all make your decision, well within the 5-minute counter, you begin to move forward. I would like to know in your marching order, if you would. You have the aforementioned children that we've identified, all of the kind of shadowed, not active PCs that are potentially walking with you. All the wills and the staffins and the berserkers that are just waiting and biding their time for one of you to make that tactical mistake. But as you're going forward, about an hour passes, hour and a half, getting long a bit in the day. And it's at this point, without the need for a roll of any kind, you see that the ground around you and the region is getting swampier. It seems that this sundered land is creating a runoff of some of the lowlands, and you smell that rotten, stagnant vegetation. And I'm going to need a perception check from everybody.
19.
21.
15.
There they all are. Great.
I'm glad we all do either great or terrible, and it's
We
not
are a
all of the
team.
time.
do
We're a
great.
team.
This
Stick
is
together.
a family, Aspen.
We do well together, or we suck together. One of the two.
All the dungeon masters out there, both on screen and watching, will agree with me. That's the way you want it. You want everyone to fail, or if one person succeeds, might as well all of them succeed. So, the information's going to be delineated anyway. So, anywho, that information. Couple things. It looks like there is a cloud to the south that would indicate a large mass or large mobile force heading your way. I will let you know that it certainly bears a lot of resemblance to the dust that was kicked up by the horde of zombies. And also you see a dark shape that seems to be flying in and out of the low-lying clouds ahead. And who's my 21? Dexter.
Mm-hmm.
As in a very kind of Tyrion Lannister move, as you look up and a shadow kind of passes over the area, your eyes follow, and in a broken piece of ground about 50 yards to the north, you see a figure jump up onto a pile with wild blonde hair, a bald pate up to about the back, and the horseshoe that's left is just straight out on either side, almost like Krusty the Clown from The Simpsons. And as the dwarf, as you're able to see with that perception check, looks at you, there's a look of shock on the old humanoid's face. What are you doing? Oh, the gods, come on! What are you bringing, kids? Come on! And he just starts waving towards you all. Pointing as he's pointing up as he's waving.
Yep, I see the thing above. I see him. He looks kind of crazy. Everyone is kind of crazy right now. If I made an insight on him, would that detract from our time, so to speak? Like, if there was an imaginary clock that totally isn't running right now, would making an insight detract from that?
It would just slow you down just a second.
Yeah, fuck it. I'm just gonna trust him.
Okay. So, with the trust factor immediately agreed upon, at least by Dex, everyone else with your perception checks, as you are a team and family, you see this crazy figure jumping up. The figure is equipped with armor. You see that they also are carrying a one-headed hammer with an axe, a half-moon axe blade on the other side, and they're just waving and gesticulating. Well, come on! We killed, come on! And he's just screaming for you all to move in their position, towards their position.
Okay, I mean we've seen the dust cloud behind us. We've seen the shadow. So
I mean, what can a man with an axe and a very strange hairline do compared to those two? So
I would have just seen the shadow in the clouds, right? No identifying markers? Nothing I could make a pick on?
It's dark in color, like a shadow.
Oh.
How
crazy.
big?
On the scale of tiny to pretty fucking big, it's tilting towards the pretty fucking big side. That's PFB for technical terms, everybody.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah.
Okay, yeah, Zeph's like right in the middle of the kiddos, so we're moving.
Okay.
Yeah, trying to move some of the kids towards the dwarf. Still keeping an eye out for other things.
Okay, so what I'm going to need from everybody is I want my PCs to roll the following: either athletics or acrobatics. We're going to see how quickly you can cover this ground from where you are to where this crazy dwarf is. More importantly, we're going to see how much ground you can cover while the shadow's in the air.
I'm gonna cast Longstrider on myself.
If I am like flying 5 feet above the ground, do I still need to make these checks?
No,
If I'm
not at all.
technically walking?
If you want to help the children, though, reach that destination, you all
I'd
can
like
just
to, I'd like to
cut
help
loose.
the children reach that destination, and I'm also going to cast Longstrider on myself.
High five.
Father Strider with his disadvantage 21.
Nice.
I'm gonna use honor for advantage.
Athletics or acrobatics? 13.
Hey, twin.
Not great.
Okay.
Nice. But those are good averages. Those averages are definitely above the DC that you needed, as you are all able to get the kids and traverse over to the dwarf. And as the dwarf gets there, he immediately reaches down off the little kind of plateau that he's standing on and starts, if you will allow him, he's just with his arms pulling you guys and the kids up over and not really paying attention, just very that laborious dwarven characteristic of work as he's just ripping the kids up from the kind of little trench that you all are in over into a little bit of a path you see behind him.
And I'm gonna kind of stay back and like start like handing kids up to him.
Yep, he is able to, let's see exactly how well he can do. He's slower he starts to slow down after he gets the first couple over, but you all rolled well enough to get where you need to be. And who is the last person to leave the field for the elevated position? Aspen?
Dexter. Oh, right, Aspen.
Whoever you would like to choose here.
I feel like it's always Aspen. One, because they want to make sure other people are in front of them, and also it takes Aspen a really long time to climb stuff.
Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Dexter a little bit in front, and then Aspen.
So everybody that's pulled over, the kids kind of receive like a pat on the shoulder or a pat on the back, which is almost like getting hit by a board by this dwarf. Go on, cock! Get it wrong, cock! And the kids, as they get moved off of the plateau towards this path that's behind and to the north, ignores every PC that comes over the wall. I mean, helps, pulls, grabs, rips up, until Aspen, the last person to leave the field. And Aspen, as this dwarf helps you over, he clasps your hand as he puts all of his weight and helps you kind of climb up over this embankment and doesn't let go. And he looks way up at you and says, Gunemon Meinheid, we're the last ones to leave the land of the living.
But hopefully not today.
He looks at you wild-eyed and begins to move towards the north as you guys kind of are taking to that path, I'm assuming. and he would say to Aspen and Aspen alone, "My clan's been leaving the field of battle last for centuries. Got the honor to do it. I was gonna leave before I saw you fools coming through. And you have kids with you too. You're crazy. But let's go. We're the last ones to see the South alive before," and he points towards the dust cloud, and he points up. "It's all gone now."
Yeah, probably.
I need everybody to roll initiative.
Mother.
Yes. Twins.
Nah.
Yay, Father Strider. Look, Jason.
Twins.
Initiative's not a skill check, is it?
I have a
Okay.
+8 to him.
Let's alert.
Jason, and then we've got Zeph and Veneris. Who wants to go first, since you both had the same modifier?
I don't know if it matters.
I can make you re-roll. Everybody roll a d20, or re-roll your initiative.
No,
Roll
I
off.
like my initiative.
Yeah.
No, this is just for the two of you.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Sure.
Sure.
I'd rather leave it random. Nice. You
Okay.
go first.
Okay.
Veneris, Zeph, and then who do we have coming up here? Aspen and Dexter have the same, but it's going to be Dexter, and then Aspen, and then my friend above. Okay, everybody. Father Strider, you are up. Father Strider, you are up first as you look and see coming from the clouds a ebony, shiny, obsidian-like form as it cracks through into the remaining light of day. It seems to see a nice line of figures, kids and you all, with a crazy-ass dwarf and a centaur at the end of it, and it figures, that looks good. What would you like to do?
I would like to spend a key point for patient defense, preparing to take the dodge action as a bonus action on my turn.
Okay, here's the devil's bargain that I'll be so nice to tell all of you people. You may all prep in all of your worldly, godlike 7th level ways. Know that there are a group of kids that will not be prepping for any of that. So keep that in mind as you look and see Can and Rock and Pidge. So
Okay, then scratch that. Let me do this. I will spend 2 key points instead and call the children close to me. Children, come close. As is there a place around here that is a relatively decent place to hide?
roll me a perception check.
Oh, fucking... Oh, wow.
I mean, there are a couple. They look like they could probably give you a couple people some cover.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get as many of the kids as I can as close to me as possible, pull them to one of these hiding places, and as seen before on the steps of the house, you see him going through his hand movements, moving them back and forth as he casts Pass Without Trace over himself and the children.
Okay. We'll say that the kids begin to move towards this area with you. We'll see how they do.
Okay.
That goes down to Veneris then, if you don't have anything else to do.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be it.
Okay, Veneris.
So there's just this giant obsidian beast in front of us?
It's a dragon.
Oh, great. Glad to know the name. How far away is it from us?
It's coming from the south to the north, almost like it's getting ready to strafe you, and it is coming in pretty damn fast.
Shit.
That's a free action.
So, yeah, I know. I've got so much I can do. Oh my god. Okay. How quickly could a group of kids climb something?
Well, that would depend on the dice rolls.
Okay. Fuck it. I'm just gonna. Is he within range to shoot my longbow at the dragon?
Hell yeah! Are you gonna stay where you are? Are you going to like take a different position, go airborne? What do you?
I'm going to try and stay down with the family. I'm gonna fire away and then try and get a little bit of cover. Try and push some kids out of the way as well. Just shoving them out of the area. Okay, so 3 attacks. Let's do this. Probably a miss. 18. No. Oh, it's a hit? Okay. 6 points of damage plus an extra D8 because of
Let's do it.
8. 12 total. Okay. And then
Nice.
last attack. Another 18.
That'll hit. It just hits.
So 20 total.
Nice.
20.
Hell of a round there.
And then use my movement to try and get some kids to cover after firing my bow.
Are you moving in the same direction as Father Strider, or are you splitting up?
Shit.
Again, a
How
free
much
action.
room does it look like Father Strider has over on his side? Because if it's looking pretty cramped, I'm gonna have to split them up so we're not,
I'm going to tell you this. This is the fog of war right now. You're not sure. You just can't tell. It might all the kids might fit there. They might not. This is a decision that Veneris would have to make in the heat of battle.
Veneris, Veneris is gonna shoo them off towards Father Strider, but stay out in the open and move forward to try and create a distraction because he just shot 2 arrows into this thing.
Okay, let me be clear. Veneris is distracting the dragon.
Trying to.
How far is Veneris moving away from the group?
Not far. He's gonna stay probably he's gonna get 20 feet ahead of the others.
That's fine with me.
Fire.
Take 15 honor as the dragon takes 20 damage and turns its attention to Veneris as we turn our attention to Zeph.
Okay. Good. Okay. This is maybe something that will work. What I'd like to do is go where the kids are. Are they mostly around the same area? I mean, even if they're very far apart from each other, I actually don't think it.
Let's look at this from theater of the mind. Let's imagine that the kids were in we're going on a field trip line.
Yeah.
And we're going to say that of the kids that we know, kids that we have become accustomed to, those 8 that we, 4 of them went with Father Strider, 4 of them went or actually all of them went with Father Strider because Veneris kind of pushed them over that way as well. So, they're kind of clustered, which is kind of clustered is draconic for smorgasbord.
Okay. What I'd like to try, knowing that dragons spit stuff,
They tend to.
What I'd like to do and see if this works is do a wind wall over us, over the kids in particular. I mean, this thing goes like, can be 50 feet in length, it can be 15 feet high, I can shape it any way I want as long as part of it touches the ground. So what I'd like to do is some kind of, I don't even know how to describe it. Maybe 50 feet long. I want it to be able to cover us from, definitely from above, like almost like a dome, but it's not a dome because it's like parts of a wall, so like it won't be round. But the idea is
Gotcha.
to put a barrier between us and anything that might get spit on us.
Okay. I tell you what I'll allow you to do that. You please describe to us the air walking, air bending things that you're doing here. And mechanically, what we'll do here is if anybody behind your wall needs to, I don't know, have a saving throw, they'll do so at advantage.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so Zeph starts kind of, her arm starts shaking as she is like pulling, it looks like she's pulling stuff up from the ground, but nothing comes up except dust starts blowing. And it's like torrents of air are now between the kids and her and anything that would come toward them from that direction.
Okay. Hawk with the golden corral equivalent for a dragon is golden kindergarten. That's a tough one. That's a tough one, my friend, and I approve. So if you are sending up the wind wall and doing the airbender stuff, very similar to what was done on the top of the stagecoaches in Waterdeep, you would all see, as described in the narrative, Zeph is again manipulating the wind and trying to create a elemental defense. Dex, you're up, my friend.
Okay, so we have some cover from Zeph. Father Strider is trying to hide some of the kids. Daenerys is out front. Aspen is going to go after me. Would this dragon be in short bow range? That's roughly 80 feet.
I'll allow it, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So could I get maybe like 15 feet in front of the wind wall and try to fire at this dragon?
Sure, absolutely, yeah.
Since it's in sunlight, this will be a disadvantage. Yay, sunlight sensitivity. No.
Okay. So as the arrow kind of errantly goes up, it moves a little bit to the one side as it misses the ebony form. Anything else that Dex would like to do is you positioned yourself 15 feet in front of the wind wall.
I don't think so for right now, no.
Okay. Aspen, what would you like to do?
Are there any of the kids still, like, not in any sort of cover? And if so, how many?
Roll a perception check.
Okay. 16?
When you roll a 16, you see that heading towards the north up the path, the ones that were leading the way, you see that Megan and Can have reached what looks like a fast moving creek through all of this, and there's a guideline of yellow kind of nylon that they're holding on to, and they've just now turned around and realized that they're alone.
So I am going to move diagonally away from the path, sort of towards them, but not directly. Basically, my goal is I still want to be within 30 feet of them, but as far away from everybody else as I can. I am going to cast Bless on myself and the two of them. And then I'm gonna shout the rudest thing I can think of to a dragon, which I don't know in real life, but maybe Aspen has something, so...
I tell you what, we'll see what Aspen has in the cursing coffers as they get ready to let this go. I would like to know, are you moving like in the direction that Veneris moved, kind of away from the group proper? Is that what your idea is?
Yes. Actually, if I can get close to Veneris, can I be close enough to Veneris and also include Megan and...
Yes, I'll allow that. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
That would put you away from kind of splitting the group, not party, but you guys can all see each other. This would put you kind of like on Veneris' side of the path.
Yeah, so then I will also include Veneris in the Bless.
Okay. And roll me a performance check to see what kind of curses you're able to remember that could really piss off a dragon.
I'm gonna use advantage for this one.
Sure, I love it.
Okay, well.
I mean, Aspen's they're pretty, controlled a lot, but there's you jerk, you scaly person, and but there's seems to be some recognition. Anything else that Aspen would like to do? Yeah, overgrown salamander, that's about it. So Aspen, with that done, the creature barrels in, eyes of pure hate focused on Veneris, as there's still ichor dripping off of its jowls where the arrows had kind of ripped into it. I would like from both Veneris and from Aspen dexterity saving throws, please.
And so the Bless gives plus a d4 on the saving throw, and is Veneris in my aura 10 feet?
They couldn't be in your aura, and you would have been able to get the kids too. So you're kind of like halfway between, right?
So I get...
I don't even need the D4, but I'll take it.
Do you want to use? Do you want to?
I got 5.
10 on.
You use those points.
You want to use 10 honor?
You've got so many.
Veneris, remember when Ortis bragged? Okay.
That's right. That's right. I will gladly take the bless. I'm thankful for all of my rolls.
Do you have 10 honor?
Yeah, I do.
You've got so much honor.
I do.
Please,
yeah,
please spend it.
I'll go ahead and spend that.
You already died twice.
Yeah, that's fair.
Do you have any inspiration?
No, I don't believe so.
18 total
Plus 5.
for you?
Yeah, 18.
Okay. So as the creature opens up its maw stained with the wounding of the arrow, it breathes out a gout of this corrosive liquid, and as it splashes, it would have done 49 damage to you, but instead of 49 damage, it does 25 acid damage as it splashes over the centaur. Half of that, obviously, to Veneris as well, would be 25 acid damage. So take that for what you will, as the creature turns and rockets out of your area and begins to bank back around for another attack.
I would like to use my reaction.
Mm-hmm.
I point up to this dragon and I say, "You fucking overgrown salamander, burn!" And I cast Hellish Rebuke.
You can rebuke away. What do they have to?
Dexterity saving throw. They'll make it easily. It's a DC 13.
Yeah, okay, they made it.
But
but
they still take 2d10 fire damage, half of that.
Okay, you want to roll it or?
Oh, so they take 3. 3.
Hey, 3's better than 0.
It's damage.
Just to recap, though, that is 23 damage that Veneris has done to this creature and no one else has. So as you say this and as a little bit of burn comes off of it, it turns as it's banking, its eyes never leaving Veneris as its wings bank and it comes back around for another attack. Yeah. Your finger is reflected in its gaze. As we go back up to the top of the order, I will tell you all this. Not traditional D&D rounds, because you have NPCs that are at play. The kids are still in danger. You can attempt to either do something aggressive on your round against the dragon, or you can attempt to get the kids to another place. Totally up to you. Everybody has that option. So I will, if you're opting to help the kids, we make rolls. If you're attacking, you guys know what to do. Just let me know what you want.
So I'm still top of the order, right? Yeah. All right. Yeah, I'm going to continue to try and funnel the kids towards safety, keeping them as close to me as possible with the pass without trace.
Okay, are you leaving the area or are you heading north? Like, are you hunkering down to fight, or are you trying to get the kids out of the combat field?
I'm trying to get the kids to safety.
Okay. Again, since you all, the previous perception checks that you all rolled, it seems that the mad dwarf that you all that's running around here is indicating that there is kind of like a foot-stamped path behind that plateau that he opened. It's the one that Megan and Can are on right now. It leads to that fast-rushing little kind of creek and river, but that's the one that heads north.
Okay. Yeah, and I mean, you know, given what I was told from that amulet about north and the zombies can't stand the cold, that's definitely the way that I would want to progress with these kids. So.
Then roll me an acrobatics, as you have 4 of the kids. Currently you are in possession of Pidge, Rock, Truss, and Robin. Okay, so with the exhaustion leaking and leaching a lot of the energy and vitality from the father's muscles, you're able to get about halfway towards Megan and
feline agility.
Oh yeah, you can make it.
Yeah.
The kids don't have feline agility though. You're only as fast as the slowest person.
So you're using a determined. Okay, there, gotcha.
Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
Then I'll hold off on that. So what if I got there's no possible way to get the kids to dash. It's just mechanically, it's just the acrobatics determining the motion.
Correct.
Okay.
It's my Monty Cook way of making you all roll for things because I don't want to do it.
It's all good. Right. So yeah, we'd move as far as we could to the next safest point to be as stealth as possible.
Perfect. Okay, so as Father Strider getting his group away, we cut over to Veneris. Veneris, you are going head to head with this thing. What do you want to do? You see that, you know, you would be able, without a perception roll, Father Strider pulling these kids, trying to get them away. The kids are in immediate danger here.
I am not fast enough to outfly a dragon, nor is our group fast enough to outrun a dragon. Does Veneris have any idea on how tough dragons are to kill? Because right now this seems like a very dangerous thing. Shit. Okay.
I mean, you're kicking ass so far. I mean, it's
23 out of God knows how much this thing has. Fuck it. Veneris knows that the kids need more time to get out, and so he is going to stand his ground. And instead of doing... Ooh, let's have some fun, and instead of longbow, I am going to shoot some Eldritch Blasts.
let's do it.
Just double checking something, because I'm not sure if I chose my double sight repelling blast. Oh, okay, cool, fun. Eldritch Blast, because I'm above level 5, so 2 of those. 22.
That's a hit.
And a 23.
That's a hit. 2 hits as Veneris is nice.
10 points of damage, and it is pushed back 20 feet. Not that it'll matter, but...
What we'll say narratively is, describe what your Eldritch Blasts look like as Veneris casts these 2 bolts into the air.
Veneris, just like his hellish rebuke, all of the energies and properties of his magic have this hint of green, almost undead qualities to it. So when he forms his Eldritch Blast, they are vibrant lime green almost, as he fires them out, aiming for, let's say, the dragon's wing.
And that's exactly... Yeah, that's exactly what you hit, as you hit like right around where the wing meets the main body of the dragon, and it begins to corkscrew a bit in the air as the 20 feet movement restriction or knocked back is actually a kind of a buffer that gets it off its course a bit, as you see it kind of flap to correct, its eyes never leaving Veneris, as there's this just absolute glowing hatred of this insignificant creature that is just kicking its ass right now, and it's just glaring at you as it comes back around for another approach. If you are done, it is Zeph's turn.
Zeph is going to move the rest of the kids.
Okay, I was going to say, Zeph, what we can do, because of what we did before and we kind of established with the narrative, if you wanted to keep that wind wall up, I'll allow you to move it. So if you wanted to kind of follow them and move it up, because we already had it moving on top of the stagecoaches in Waterdeep. So I'm not going to say that you're going to have to fix it to a point, because I think it's cooler if you have that kind of like rocket in front of you. So if you wanted to do that, you can. I'll give you that option.
Yeah, are all the kids now are at least behind it in some capacity, right?
Right, so I just need to know that, like, as Strider is moving them north up the path, you're the last person in that line, right? Okay. Yep. We're going to say, too, that you're able to pick up Z, and you're able to pick up, who's the other one? The other one. You're able to pick up all the kids, so they're all in a line heading in that direction. Cats, yeah, you got Cats. So Cats the Kenku and Z the half-elf kind of pull out of where they're hiding and join into the line that Strider's taking, that you are protecting from.
Yeah.
Make me an acrobatics check, because in addition to what you're doing, you're actually kind of helping the kids.
Yeah. 13.
With that, you're able to make it to the position where Can and Megan are kind of holding on to the nylon rope, and they're starting to move into the water like they're going across, as these 2 kids seem to understand what this is, as the dwarf is screaming to them, "Just go across the water, go!" As he turns around, and you see that he has no way of attacking this dragon, but he's kind of hopping back and forth. And he is not retreating. He is staying at the farthest removed position from this.
Yeah, Zeph now is just kind of, her eyes are fixed on Veneris.
Dex.
Okay, this thing is completely focused on Veneris, and now we're trying to get the kids across the river. 4 of them are close to the river, 4 of them are with Father Strider. If I move back over to the river, and I'll use my bonus action to dash if I have to, because rogue. Could I make a nature check to see just how rough this river would be? Like, how much is it slowing it down? Are there any, like, really deep points in the river that the children would have a lot of trouble getting across?
Absolutely. Roll me that nature check, and we can say that you're kind of retreating as you're looking at this body of water that's in front of you now.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's a 16 on that nature.
You see it. You see that there is an undercurrent that kind of ripples the surface, the placid surface. You can see it moving beneath. And just as that happens, as you recognize this, you see Can and this little stuffed lizard begins to float away from them. And you see them reach, no, brother. And you see them let go, and you see them get sucked under the water as they start to splash as they get pulled off of the nylon cord, just as you make this check. I'll give you a chance to do something, Dex, but again, you're 2 feet tall.
Yeah, I'm probably maybe slightly taller than this kid goblin, at best. What do I have? I have rope, but how do I... Am I near Aspen?
Aspen is back with Veneris. They're the rear guard with the dwarf.
Okay.
As of right now, Aspen has their move coming up.
Okay, who would be the person closest to me right now?
Zeph, I would guess.
Zeph, I have 50 feet of rope. I want to give you one end of the rope. Keep hold on my end, or tie it around me if I have the time, and jump in that river after Can.
So you see Dex throw a rope to you as you're kind of holding up your casting, and Dex, you jump into the water. We're going to say you're jumping in, trying to get the rope around you, keeping an eyesight on the whisked away child. Roll me an acrobatics to see if you can get that rope secured before you hit the water.
I'm going to use my 5 honor to roll this.
To roll at advantage?
Oh no.
An advantage.
Oh, there we go. Is he back?
Yeah.
Oh, there he is. He's back.
Use that advantage. 11? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, internet is.
As you jump in, Auntie, just almost as if it gets caught on a rock, the rope rips out of your hand as you're in the air trying to tie it and finish the tie. You feel it pull away from your chest as you are without any type of safety harness, but you're able to dive into the water. Make a dexterity saving throw as you reach for Can.
14?
You feel your hand wrap around the little sundress that Can wears, and you're holding them up as they pop up on the other side, and you see them reaching down the downstream for this little bit of, like, a stuffed lizard. Brother, no, as they're reaching for it. Staffin has just donated a D12 of inspiration to Dex, so make sure you mark that down, my friend.
Is there Thank you, Staffin. You are a lifesaver.
As you get whisked away with the child, we are going to cut now to Aspen. Aspen, you see this creature, eyes of fury locked onto Veneris. The battle is joined. What do you do?
I am going to move next to Veneris. How far away is the dragon right now?
The dragon's about 80 feet as it's kind of coming around and banking back towards you all.
Then I think I will have to... I'm gonna hold my action for my Nature's Wrath. It's for a creature within 10 feet. So basically, if it gets within 10 feet of me, I'm gonna Nature's Wrath it.
I'll tell you this, there's a possibility it can, about a 66% possibility that it can. So hold your action, and everybody turn your attention to roll 20 as I roll a d6, which is very important for this particular moment. As the creature turns back around, its eyes of hate, it maintains a lofty perch in the air as again its maw opens, burned by eldritch blast and arrows from this goddamn insignificant creature. And with a rage and a primal fury born only of these black dragons and their reclusive nature, again this line of corrosive acid comes out, and I need a dexterity save from Aspen and from Veneris.
You do get +2 this time in addition to the D4.
Is there any chance that wind wall is helping us out at all here?
I'm afraid not.
Okay. I'm gonna spend 5 of my honor points to do this at advantage. Okay.
Same.
Okay. 24.
Okay. So as the acid lances down, Aspen will take 49 acid damage and Veneris takes 25.
Oh, fuck.
How are you all doing?
Does this count as spell damage?
No, this is a natural ability.
Another reaction. I'd like another dexterity saving throw.
Sure.
Burning another first level hellish rebuke.
Seems to be unrebuked.
He's fine. He's fine. But he will take damage, and that's going to be 2d10. Okay, so
7. We'll give him.
Okay.
Yep.
7
Again,
points of fire damage.
The only damage done to this creature is by Veneris. Aspen, how are you?
The tiniest bit unconscious.
Fuck.
So I think that Zeph is at the rear guard, and Zeph, you had your eyes on Veneris as you see the centaur fall, hit the side flanks, kind of come up as the forelegs hit the ground. As some moves like Jagger come in from Staffen, and that would be 14 additional temporary hit points. Would that keep Aspen up? Well, we're gonna say they do. Let me know with the
Yeah.
Would the 14 have kept them up?
I'm pretty sure. I'm trying to do math here. Yeah, because 35 plus 14 is 49.
49 exactly. And that's the damage that was done. Staffen does give you the moves like Jagger, but you are at 1 hit point as you fall prone, and there is just a hint of a note of a flute on the air as you feel 1 hit point kind of creep back into your frame. Just an essence, the hint, the note of life is still inside Aspen's form. Jason, if Aspen, I know that you were holding your action. Unfortunately, it did not get within 10 feet. So, Jason, we are back up to you, my friend. You saw that Can got whisked away, but you have all of these kids around you. What do you do?
Yeah, ultimately, I mean, he's obligated to the kids he has under his purview, which are the ones that are around him. If he leaves as 4, he risks sacrificing them, and that's just something that he couldn't do morally or ethically. So yeah, he's just going to continue to try and move them to safety.
Okay, so there is a kind of like a nylon braided, it's obviously not nylon, but it looks like nylon braided rope across this river. And as you are taking the kids across, roll me an acrobatics check as you're getting the entire group across, obviously with the exception of Can.
Oh, dear sweet God, no honor. Okay. Fucking God.
As you're taking them across, you get about halfway, and Z, the teenage half-elf, you see her slip on something and get pulled under. Make a dexterity saving throw as she has lost control of the rope.
Oh, thank you, God.
You reach off the rope and grab the back of the hood that she's wearing as you hold her as the water begins to collect, and you're able to pull her back up to the rope. And for the first time, at least in your existence, you hear Z say, "Thank you."
Fear not, child, we will get through this. Just stay close. Don't let go of the rope next time.
You're able to get them almost one more round. You should have the entire kids across. You're kind of in the middle of the river right now. Is there anything else you would like to talk about, look, or try, Jason?
No, again, just keep moving them to safety and moving them to safety. That's
Okay.
the main thing right now. If he didn't do it, if he attempted to do anything else, honestly, Father Strider is very much playing it by the book at the moment, because last time he stepped away from what he should have been doing, it endangered the lives of others.
Okay. Excellent, my friend. As Veneris, toe-to-toe with a dragon, my friend, what are you going to do here? You see that the kids are almost to the other side, but not quite.
Okay. Gonna turn to Aspen.
I got your back.
Aspen, you always put others before you, and now it's time for you to go. And I lift off the ground because I feel like maybe this dragon is a little bit more angry at me than caring about food by this point, hopefully. And I'm gonna try and lead it away.
Okay.
Quickly Aspen, and then I'm flying up into the air, and I'm gonna do 2 more Eldritch Blasts at its toothy fucking maw.
Rock and roll, my friend.
Ooh, that misses. Ooh, that also misses. Warning shots.
Okay, I wanted you to get those done before I tell you. You are attempting to draw off a dragon to save these children. I want you to take 20 honor points. If you would like to re-roll any of those, you can, or if you want to bank those honor points for later, you can.
I will. I'll re-roll them. I want to fuck this thing up. So let's go.
Let's fuck it up, man.
Nope. Okay. Still warning shots.
Yeah, but enough to... What I would like you to do is roll me a persuasion or intimidation check with advantage as you are lifting off and yelling at a dragon.
Well, I've got the same for both. So let's go intimidation.
Let's do it.
Or 12.
DC 8, because this thing's pissed at you anyway. So as you lift off, what is your fly speed?
My fly speed is 40 because I've got Long Strider cast on me currently.
Okay, so as you draw this thing away, it begins to kind of bank and target towards you. So, Zeph, you said that you were specifically watching Veneris. You see Veneris rocket up into the air and fly off, taking the dragon with him as he...
She grips her teeth and starts keening. She's looking. She finally manages to pull her eyes away and looks toward Dexter, who's holding Can, right? I would like to, with a lot of effort, cast Vine Whip out toward them. So I can, specifically Dexter, so I don't hurt Can.
Gotcha.
I would like to cast it at him and then pull him in.
Okay. And obviously you can still keep up your wall, right? That's
Yeah.
Okay. So is there anything that you have to roll an attack for? Because I think it's a saving throw against...
It's a cantrip. If you'd like me to roll an attack, I can, to make sure I get them.
You go ahead and roll me just an attack, because I think it's a... Is it a attack, spell attack, or a saving throw for the target? Yeah, go ahead and roll. Yeah, go ahead and let's see. Fuck yeah, nat 20.
I think that works.
Yeah, I got him.
So...
Without even looking.
Right, just watching Veneris with the wall of wind up, just... As you're splashing and we go directly over into your round, Dex, as you're splashing, holding Can, we're going to say because of a nat 20, you reach up and just grab hold as it wraps around your arm in the perfect position. And because it's a nat 20, Can reaches and grabs their lizard just before it gets away and pulls it to their chest. You're still hanging against the current, so make me an athletics check to see if you can pull yourself back to the side of the river, basically. Hell yeah.
Okay.
Good rolls here. So Dex, you're able to pull yourself up. At this point, I will give you your movement and a bonus action if you want to get back up and kind of repeat the process to get across that everybody else is doing. You'd be the last in line, except for Zeph, who's, an Aspen.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'd do that. I'd start getting Can back across again.
Okay. Make me an acrobatics check then as you start.
I'm going to add the D12 of inspiration.
Yeah, go right ahead. Okay, I don't take ones on inspiration. That's my personal house rule. So roll a D20 again. Yeah, do roll a D12 again. Yeah. A 10's a little bit better. Yeah. So, if you're getting inspiration, nobody's inspired by one. So that's just the way I do things. So with a dirty 20, here's what we're going to say, because Can and Dex are about the same size. Father Strider, as you're holding onto the rope, kind of going across with everybody, across the rope comes Dex as he's running along the rope with Can running along the rope behind, as you see them kind of tightrope across the top of the rope as you're... So you guys are on the other side.
I love it. Okay, good. Okay, once I get there, then I would just, like the kids that get close to the other side, I would start helping them finish the process.
Absolutely. Gotcha. Aspen of 1 hit point. You see Veneris lift off into the air, and you see that the dragon appears to be intent upon your sibling, your friend, your companion. What do you do?
So what is the terrain like across the river again?
Everything is like would be considered double movement speed or half movement speed to go through, except this little path that this dwarf seems to have kind of stomped down and created for himself. That's the same path that goes across the river along the rope, and it seems to kind of like a serpentine meander all the way to the north. The rest of it is hazardous terrain, though.
And there's like no like cover or anything there?
Sort of, yeah. You can kind of fight depending upon, you know, if you tell me you dive into cover, I'll definitely give you like an AC bonus if something happens.
Am I allowed in the rules? Can I take an action on my turn and then hold a bonus action?
Technically, you can only hold actions. You can't hold movement or bonus. But again, one of my house rules is if you have a bonus action you'd rather hold, I'll let you hold a bonus action. In my opinion, actions are kind of greater than bonus, and if you elect to hold a bonus, I allow it. But you can't do one and then hold the other.
Okay. See, the thing is, if something happens to Veneris, then the dragon's gonna come after the rest of us anyway. So I may as well just support Veneris. That being said, I need some hit points, so I'm going to cure wounds level 2 myself. Woo! 12 entire hit points.
Take those 12 hit points.
And then I'm just gonna kind of hang out near, but not in the path of the dragon.
The dragon, yeah, you can definitely get out of the path of the dragon because the path of the dragon begins and ends with Veneris.
Yeah, so I'm gonna make sure I'm like close enough. Actually, I'm gonna go directly under Veneris.
I will allow you to kind of move towards Veneris, but Veneris lifted off and flew away. So Veneris was able to get 40 feet in the air away from the area. So you could probably make it about 10 feet, a half of your movement, as you're kind of running beneath in the direction of Veneris.
I have 40 feet of movement, like normally.
Right, but it would be half though because of the terrain. So
like
you could
20.
get it. Yeah, you could get 20.
Okay.
So he'd still be about 20 feet above and ahead of you.
Okay.
Alrighty. So as Aspen is trailing Veneris, you all see this happening. Zeph, as the dwarf is looking, where the hell are they going? As he's looking at Aspen and Veneris flying off.
They're making sure that it doesn't come back for us anytime soon.
They're goddamn heroes. And you see the dwarf start to move towards Aspen and Veneris and just waves behind you. Go! Yeah, tell them we're all dead. And he pulls the axe out and can't get anywhere near the centaur, but is moving in that direction with his movement.
Are we still in initiative?
We are, and I have to make a roll here that sort of determines whether or not Veneris is going to live.
Yeah.
So, as the creature inhales again, it is the fletching of an arrow still sticking between the scales, catches its throat as it and a bit of the ichor and the acid sprays from the side of the throat as it instead goes its full distance. It cannot attack this round, but it is pulled into melee with. So, Veneris, you can feel the breath on your feet as you're flying.
Okay.
Back up to Jason at the top of the round.
All right, so we made it across the rope yet?
Roll me an acrobatics check.
Oh, shit.
Now, Dex and Can did.
Yeah, we're on the other side.
Yeah, I know.
We're all still, yeah.
I heard the Star Wars Cantina song as you guys ran by. Yeah, I know. 27, make it?
There
That's
we go.
a nice.
There we go. That's what we need.
You are
27 with disadvantage, baby.
You are across, and with Dex's assistance, you have gotten all of the kids from the water. So as they're pulling up, you're on the northern side of the river with Dex and all of the children. Zeph is still on the southern bank as the dwarf, Aspen, and in the air is Veneris. Anything else you'd like to do, Jason?
Let's see. At the moment, no.
Veneris, you feel breath against the bottom of your boots. Normally, that wouldn't be something that you could feel through the soles of footwear. But because there are exhalations of a creature this large, you actually feel yourself pushed 6 to 10 inches with each as you're trying to keep ahead of this thing.
Okay. Can I do this? Oh, I should have done this earlier. Can't use it right now. I'm about to die anyways. I am going to, at disadvantage, because it's melee range, I'm going to Eldritch Blast.
Okay.
Oh, I really hope I roll better than that. Oh. Okay, first one misses.
Plus the D4.
I don't know if a D4 will help, but let's do it. Oh, 9. I'm pretty sure that misses. Next attack. Ah.
Just roll another one.
D4.
So with 2 throws of Eldritch Blast behind you, the creature seems to corkscrew, kind of getting a bead on its prey, and much like an eagle chasing a smaller avian, its mouth begins to open.
I've got nothing else. If I move, I die. If I stay, I die. So I'm just gonna fly in its face, and I await my death willingly, ready to cast a hellish rebuke as soon as it bites into me.
Love it, my friend. Honest to God, I love it. Okay, Zeph, you see all this happening. You're technically out of combat. There's no immediate threat as Veneris and the dragon are now about 100 feet away from you. Positioning wise, that's what you're looking at.
100 feet, you say?
Yes.
That sounded oddly specific.
Right. 101 feet, you say?
And everyone else is across the river.
Yep. Aspen is not. The dwarf isn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone
Aspen can take care of
important.
himself. Like, I'm not worried about Aspen's amazing. I'm not worried. I want to try something. It is last ditch. It's non-concentration. I don't think anyway. Better not be. It's not. Okay, great. I want to try seeing my friend doing this. The person I am closest to, my brother. I want to try and earthbind the dragon.
Let's do this shit.
Okay, it's a saving throw. I know. I think you've just been rolling them
Can
flat.
I pay dishonor to give it disadvantage? I've got
Can
a
you-
lot.
What honor do you have? What do you want to do?
I currently have 30 honor, and I'd like to spend some to give it disadvantage on this saving throw.
I tell you what, we're breaking ground here, but I will take 10 to give it disadvantage if that's what you'd like.
I will gladly give 10.
Okay, 10 for disadvantage.
I'm gonna die soon anyways.
Okay, let me get this fired up. Now, what type of deck or what type of saving throw is it?
Fucking strength saving throw, Greg.
Oh,
But that's
okay.
So, for the cheap seats, Lauren, what does that do?
Earthbind pulls it to the ground, and its flight speed becomes 0.
Okay, so let me switch to my Valor music.
Hold on.
You hear a definitive yoink sound.
My yoink. I can't breathe. I'm lightheaded.
Oh,
So, narratively, as Veneris is flying, you feel that exhalation buffeting you forward. You can see its maw opening as it's ready to snap into your midsection, and all of a sudden, it's gone. We're going to stick with Veneris. As Veneris turns, wings come out and buffet, and you see this creature rocketing towards the ground. Its wings seemingly made of transparent material. It cannot find lift. It cannot find purchase upon the thermals that it was currently gliding. And it crashes into this craggy, spear-like rock. And I would like Lauren to roll me 4d8 as it crashes to the ground. So for 19 damage, the first damage applied that didn't come from Veneris, this creature smashes and craters into the ground, this craggy mess of rock cutting into its already damaged scales, its already damaged flesh, as it buffs and scrapes the obsidian, the gloss of it quickly fading and becoming rough and tarnished, as it, much like a comet coming to Earth, pulls to rest, and it as it slowly puts its forearms down and lifts up and looks into the air that it cannot climb back into. Anything else, Zeph?
I'm gonna cross the river.
All right.
Did Robin see? Did he see?
Roll me a perception check.
You see Robin?
You turn around, and on the other side of the river, you see that Robin is wearing like a head wrap, almost kind of like a bandana. Robin takes off the bandana, and there's the box of the deck card box. He takes it off, and you see him giving it to Truss, as Truss produces what looks like a wooden, I don't know, it looks like a stalk, as he begins to place it into the card box. And when they see the dragon come down, Truss immediately pulls the stalk back out of the box, closes it, and hands it to Robin. But Robin's not paying attention, as he just saw you fell a dragon.
Yes.
You got it out of here.
that is so great. That is so great.
So, what we are going to do is this. Everyone, the dragon begins to move south at the fastest possible walking speed that it has. It does not want any more of this group, as it's moving for greater or greener pastures.
I'm a kill it.
I will let you know this. It looks bloodied. It doesn't look almost dead.
I will spend however long I think I'm gonna spend. I don't know how long it's gonna be grounded, but I am Eldritch blasting it up. Just
as it runs away, you're just gonna take pot shots at it.
yes.
Pew, pew.
I tell you what, roll me 2 more Eldritch Blasts.
I am furious at this thing. I am so mad at it. Okay, plus a d4. Okay, 17.
It's a miss.
Oh, shit. 16, so miss and miss.
Basically, this is like the Old West, where somebody pulled out a 6-shooter and said, dance! And they start shooting at the feet, and somebody's dancing, you know? That's basically what's happening to the dragon as you're firing Eldritch Blasts. It looks back, and for a moment you see that burning hatred in its eyes, and it pauses for a moment like, you insect, if I'm willing to die if I can kill you. And it continues then to move south. I'll leave it up to you, Veneris, if you wish to head after this creature and do something about it.
Veneris looks back to the group.
We have stuff to do.
But it's a dragon! It fucking hurt me!
I know.
Okay.
Fine. He very angrily glides down and flies next to Aspen and goes, if I see it again, I'm gonna rip its fucking scales off.
We're gonna say, yeah, all of you make it across.
Cure light wounds.
Oh my god. It hurts so bad.
Well, that happens.
When you're all on the other side, the last person across the river is the dwarf. And when the dwarf pulls himself up, he turns around and cuts the rope and lets it dangle into the water. As he turns back around and he looks especially at Veneris and especially at Zeph. You're all fucking crazy.
Yep.
And then he sees the kids. You're all fucking crazy.
But we're alive.
You see,
Can't argue with results.
Yeah.
when he says fucking, you see Blunder Trust make a note in their notebook.
Wait, the curse, I swear.
You are all able now to continue north as the minefield and the anti-zombie land that has been created behind you by the defenders of Neverwinter will slow down the Horde just enough to allow you all to follow the path of the dwarf up. And we will end with this. As you crest a northern hill, down at the ford of a river, you see the city of Neverwinter. And you also see smoke and green flame rising from inside its walls. But that's where we'll end this episode of the Fall of Faerun. You all survived a dragon.
I know.
That is pretty good.
Hey, Twitch chat. It was below Greg, and I survived.
You did it, Auntie. You did it. You didn't get ejected. You're the first one that didn't get ejected.
I'll see you next time.
Absolutely, everybody. No ejection. Love it. Let's go around and talk to all of my friends today. We have something. Jason wants to say something, but first, let's go around and let's talk to Jordan. Jordan, how are you, my friend? And how did you like your toe-to-toe with a black dragon?
Oh man, I thought I was gonna die. I honestly was so ready. I was ready to leave. I'm like, let's do this. What a way to go. I'm gonna get eaten by a dragon. I'm so desperate to know how much health it had left.
It's a mystery. I'm not going to tell you because it'll just eat at you if I don't.
Okay. I think I cut out there. Internet's
hey, we were
been
just
horrible.
Oh no,
Is that
I was going to say, no. My thing is, I will tell you this: it had a good bit of health left.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, not being able to fly.
That was amazing. Yeah, helped. Yeah. But thank you guys. This was amazing. I'm so glad I made it. Zeph, clutch, so clutch. Before my internet cuts out again, can't wait to be back next week. Oh my god, I don't even know what to say.
It was fantastic, my friend. I'll say it for you. And let's jump over to Sir Anti-Stud, who survived the ejection seat and tight-roped across one of my obstacles. Which...
Yeah. No, that was fun. That was fun. I honestly went into this not expecting to survive, but I did, so yay. But now Waterdeep, which seems to be having the same, Neverwinter having the same problems Waterdeep did, so that's going to be really fun, and nothing bad will happen.
Of course, yeah, it's next week's the beach episode.
Yeah.
Fantastic, my friend, fantastic. And just before I forget, everybody on screen levels up. So just make sure you level yourselves up again as we're having a fun campaign here, right? I already am. I'm already leveling up. All right, let's go over to Audrey. Audrey, how are you, my friend? And again, Aspen escapes death. Thanks to Legion.
Again,
Yeah.
Legion, yes. I might not have died. I could have surprised eventually. But I thank you, Legion.
Right.
I appreciate it. Staying standing is very helpful. Look, Aspen has an oath, okay? And Aspen is not about to abandon anybody just because they tell them to. So, I'm gonna wait for you every time. So,
I love it. I love it as a viewer. I love it as the DM. I love it. It's fantastic. It's great stuff. Speaking about great stuff, Earthbind. It's a good one.
That was dope.
It was a good one. Lauren, how are you, my friend?
I'm fine. I'm good. I'm chill. No hyperventilation, no lightheadedness here. Very chill all the time. I feel good. I like fucking with Greg's dragons. It's one of my favorite things to do. I love it. It's a good time. It's good for all of us. I am fine. I'm Lauren. I'm Mad Salty Ginger over on Twitter. I'm part of the team here at Tales from the Grim. I'm going to be running an Urban Shadows campaign starting on May 6th here on Monday nights at 9 Eastern. Greg's in it. He's playing the Dragon Playbook. Bye.
Fantastic, fantastic. And finally, my friend, Jason. Jason, how are you? And what do you have for us?
All right, yeah, I am doing amazing. Another exciting night. I still can't believe the four of us are here. It blows my mind, especially against a dragon and a horde hot on our tails. It's just mind-numbing. And I can't believe my rolls when I absolutely had to have them at disadvantage. Holy shit, a 27 on disadvantage. I'm not going to ever forget that roll. But okay, on to the big announcement. So you guys in the channel and the Legion, you've been hearing me talk about this charity stream for Jasper's Game Day that's coming up. Well, there's something else that you need to know. So each night from 8 to 12 during the course of the stream, we have what we call our flagship games. And during those flagship games, there's going to be an open seat at every one. And you have an opportunity to be at that table. That's right. We are doing a raffle for seats. If you go to the link that Greg just put up, and essentially it's $5 a raffle ticket to be able to get in. The more entries you get in, the more opportunity you have to win. You go to the page, you select your seat, the table that you want. If you click on the table, you look on the left-hand side, it tells you who the DM will be, who all the players are. And I'm talking about the creme de la creme of D&D land. So get in there, donate fast and often. It's only going to be up for 8 days, as we're about 2.5 weeks out from the event. So get in there, get your raffle tickets, get your seat. Again, of course, anybody can watch because it'll be on Twitch. Again, Greg's going to be DMing one. I saw Hawkeye that you had purchased. Of course, Silver had purchased. Well, another little announcement about Silver. Silver is also been gracious enough to be one of our donors for the event, and we'll be donating some custom handmade leather armor and pouches. How amazing is that? We have all sorts of other donors. Wormwood Gaming. Let's see. There's Wormwood Gaming. There's Die Hard Dice. There's Dogmite Games. D&D throwing in a bunch of stuff. It is just the end-all, be-end all of charity streams for D&D. There's never been one like it before, and unless I have something to do with it, there probably won't be another one again. Get in there, participate. If you can't donate, that's fine. Just watch as we're watching during each of the games. Every single one of the games, once we reach certain donation thresholds, we'll be giving away items. Just giving away. Once we hit donation thresholds in that particular stream, we've already got some stuff picked out for Greg's stream. So it's going to be fun and lots of cool shit. So get in there and donate.
Yeah, I did this one time before on Earth, but don't let your dreams be dreams. Donate. Put it in your hand. Donate. Do it. So just do it. Donate.
One other last little thing I want to throw in there: the finale on Thursday. You're going to get a sneak preview of one of the adventures in Saltmarsh. That's right. We have been granted permission from D&D to be able to run on the finale Thursday night one of the adventures from Saltmarsh, the up-and-coming book. So be ready for that one.
Fantastic, my friend. A lot of good things to do here. And in addition to all of the fun charity, make sure you join us next Thursday for the finale of this great show to see if all of these 5 people make it to the end, figure out at least a little bit of what's going on, and it will set up our next D&D community event as we see exactly what revelations are given at the end of next week's episode. As Lauren mentioned, we have Urban Shadows starting a week from Monday, so make sure you join us for that one. It's going to be great. I'm playing a dragon. We got a lot of cool playbooks. We also have the return of May Black Roses Bloom next Wednesday. It's season 3 starts. A lot of other fun things are coming to the channel. We're doing the World of John Carpenter via Big Trouble, which is my homage to all the things that my big brother showed me when he shouldn't have, when I was a kid in the 80s. So we will be tackling Big Trouble in Little China, Escape from New York and LA, The Thing, Halloween. All of the world of John Carpenter becomes our playground as that fires off in just a little bit. And then in addition to that, as we rolled before in the pre-roll, coming soon, we have on Sundays Sky Chasers, which is set in the 7th edition Cthulhu playbook, but it is not Cthulhu, it is X-Files-esque, as X-Files adjacent, as we do some 1950s inspectors and investigators as they stumble upon, well, the unknown. And speaking of the unknown, everybody jump over and find that little show that a lot of people watch called Critical Role. They need as many viewers as they can get. So go over there and join them, but make sure you join us next Thursday as your pre-show for just that Critical Role and to see how this story, pauses. Until next time, my friends, the campfire goes down. There's only one thing left to say. You can't always roll nat 20s. You can always Earthbind a dragon and role play. I'll see you later.